All right, everybody. Is wheat really that bad for you? What about gluten? Is gluten and wheat, is it really bad for you? What's all the hype about? You've been hearing about it for probably several years now. You're probably getting tired of your friends saying, I'm gluten sensitive or I'm gluten intolerant, and you're trying to get them to come over for a dinner party, or you're out at a restaurant and they say, no, I can't have that because it has gluten in it. Is it really that bad for you? Well, what about if you've been tested for gluten, a gluten sensitivity, and it comes back negative? What then? Does that mean gluten's not bad for you? Does that mean you can have all the wheat you want? Well, I'm going to tell you some recent research that's come out on this. So when you go get tested for gluten, whether you go to LabCorp, Quest, whether you go to AEL, whether you go to a specialty lab, probably around 98% of the laboratories that are out there that test for gluten are going to test for one form of gluten called gliadin. All right, and that's the bad news one. Gliadin is the one that's bad for you. But get this, there's 4 different types of gliadin. There's alpha, beta, gamma, and delta gliadin. So there's only 4, and almost every lab, 98% of labs, only check for one, the alpha gliadin, because that's the one that years and a couple decades ago was implicated in celiac disease. So if you've been tested for gluten sensitivity and it came back negative, it doesn't mean that you're not sensitive to gluten. It just means that test proved that you weren't sensitive to alpha gliadin. Okay, so there's 3 other types of gliadin. Now, the recent research shows, sorry about that noise, folks, that recent research shows that there's over 90 different ways that somebody could be sensitive to wheat. There's over 90 different things that somebody can test positive to for sensitivity to wheat. So you may not have a gluten problem. You may not have a gliadin problem, which is the protein in gluten. But chances are you weren't even tested for that. You were tested for alpha gliadin, not the other 3. And I can almost guarantee you, because it's in the recent research and hardly anybody knows about it, but there's over 90 ways you could be sensitive to wheat, not just gluten. So if you think that if you're somebody that says, you know what, I feel better if I avoid gluten, if I avoid wheat, if I avoid breads, if I avoid pastas, you're one of those people that you feel better if you're not going to have those things, then chances are that you have some sort of sensitivity to wheat or to gluten, even if the test that you had done comes back negative. So I would highly recommend you avoid those things, especially avoid wheat and even barley and rye. They have gluten in them. Because there's just too much of a reactivity for people's immune systems these days. And also, most of the wheat, like, I don't even know, you'd have to order like flour from Italy or something to find flour that was not GMO flour. So most of the wheat is going to also have a bunch of glyphosate and toxins from our good old friends at Monsanto. So it'd be a good idea for you to avoid the wheat, avoid the gluten, and just be healthier. So I hope you found this helpful, and informative. And if you feel vindicated that you said, I knew it was wheat, and I knew that test was wrong, well, I'm glad I could help. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good evening. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.